Everybody doing tonight? I was just having a dance party, so I made sure to bring the fire for you guys.
And I know you're gonna bring it. I was just telling them, I'm like, I'm so excited. This is going to be the most amazing way to kick off this new seminar year because I know you so well, but now everybody else gets to know you so well. And it's gonna be amazing.
I got some good stuff for you guys, so I'm excited.
Yes, I cannot wait. Well, I want to honor your time. I'm sure we're going to have girls kind of still continuing to jump in here. Before we get started, I do want to let all of you girls know that are watching that at the end, we'll hopefully have a little bit of time for Cassie to answer some questions. So just feel free to type those in the chat section. We'll have some Q&A time if you want to ask that. But if you're like thinking as she's talking, you're like, ooh, I got to know more. Just add that in the chat, and then I will go back through later and we can go through that. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I know Cassie. So Cassie and I are good dear friends. You guys, when I think of a successful entrepreneur woman that like does the do, right? Like Cassie is the definition of an action taker. Like truly when she sets her sights on something, scared, not scared, educated, trained, knows what's going on, she will learn it, she will do it. And she's going to talk with us tonight more about reverse engineering our success. And I can very much tell you, and I know a little teaser because Cassie already told me that she's got some material for us, is that she's not only going to give you a lot of great advice and get you excited, but she's going to give you tools that if you implement them, right, and that's like the magic key to all of this, if you implement the tools, you will absolutely have success from that. So with that, I'm going to let it turn over to Cassie so she can share all her wisdom and all her magic, but prepare to take some really awesome notes because this is going to be great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the introduction and for asking me to come on. It's always an honor to get to do anything with you because Brandy is amazing, as you guys all know. But I was super, super excited when she reached out to me because it just so happened that I went to a personal development conference of Brendan Burchard. Do you guys know Brendan Burchard? Drop a yes in the chat box if you know who he is. So my husband and I went to his High Performance Academy live event a couple weeks ago. And what Brandy was wanting me to come on and talk about, I was like, hey, I just learned from literally the best of the best of the best. And I could totally like come and serve some amazingness for you guys. So a little bit about me, just kind of my backstory and I don't know, just a little tidbit of where my point of view comes from. So in the last year, so I'm with a network marketing company and love the industry. Like what we do is the best thing in the entire world. Like I absolutely love it. And within the last year, so basically in about a little less than a year, built a team from scratch to just about 1,000 people. So there's a few things that were going on like on the back end of that. So started from scratch, built that team, sold a house, moved, lived in our horse trailer for 3.5 months while we were like in transition on property. I have 2 young girls. My husband was like in transition with his job. And then it was just a mess for like about, I don't know, 6-8 months. Our life was a little bit of a mess. And in that time, I was able to still build like this massive organization and keep recruiting, keep bringing people in, keep supporting and duplicating and building leaders underneath of me. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Like how is this happening? And I've really kind of figured out and narrowed it down to a few key things that will really, if you take this and you implement this over the next year, you guys are coming into a new year with your business. Take it seriously and implement it. And I promise you, if you just like put the blinders on and do these things, it will like catapult you to wherever it is that you want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and pull up a little slide presentation because I'm a nerd to keep me on track and share with you guys a little bit about motivation. Who would love to know like the secret to motivation? And if you could like get, well, let's see, which one do I want? I want this one. If you could like get your motivation just like in tune, your life would be so much easier. Who would that be helpful for? Tell me in the chat. I don't think I can see the chat anymore, but Brady can tell me. Okay, hold on a second. Whoa, we're starting at the end. Okay, so motivation framework. So that's really what we want to have narrowed in and dialed in as we're coming into a new year, is how are you going to set yourself up for success day in and day out over the course of the next months, weeks, months, and years. So there's a framework to this. I am, again, a nerd. I love frameworks. I love anything that can just like take something big and complex and break it down for me to be able to look at, okay, where is the issue? Where is the breakdown? And then, that helps me move forward. So with motivation, that's exactly how it is. So if you ever feel like you've had big dreams, right? And you're like, yes, and you are super excited and you're like, I want to do the things. And then it comes time to do the things and you're like, I'm not doing the things. Why am I not doing the things? What is going on? I want to do the things. I know there's big things I want to do. Why am I not doing them? Is it because of a lack of goals? I want you guys to, in the chat box, do any of you have a lack of goals? Like it's not usually because of a lack of goals, right? Like goals are something that it's easy for us to set, like this is what I want to do. Goals are the desire to achieve or acquire something, right? So when you set a goal, it's you want to do something, you want to achieve or acquire something. So all of us have big goals, right? Or is it a lack of ambition, right? Is it a lack of ambition? And ambition is the desire to become someone. So there's a very big difference there. And I'm going to talk about this framework for motivation, but this is something that I really want you guys to think about and really like ruminate on, of the difference between a goal and an ambition. And if you want to be, that top 2% and you want to be a high performer and you want to really hit whatever those big goals in your business are, really narrowing in and figuring out what that ambition is, who you want to become, is going to, take you leaps and bounds farther than thinking of things that you want to acquire or things that you want to achieve, okay? This is something also with ambition that we really, really want to remember. And like Brandy said, I am an action taker. I am a messy action taker. Like I'm not a perfectionist. I just get things done. And perfection, as soon as perfection comes into the equation, it immediately kills ambition. So remember that, like write that down. As soon as perfection comes into the equation, it immediately snuffs out and kills ambition. Okay, and I'm going to tell you guys why this is important, but that is a 100%, like it's been studied over and over and over, and perfectionism is the death of ambition, okay? Okay, so what do we need to get motivation, to get going, to get started, to get that spark ignited? There's two things. Number one, we need that ambition. We don't need the goal, right? That's a thing. That's something we want to do. We need that hunger. We need that desire. We need that thing that we want to become, that we want to do, right? Okay, so we need that, and then we also need expectancy. So what this is the belief that it's possible. Okay, so you need ambition in order to get motivation to do something. You need ambition and you need expectancy. So belief that it's possible. I'm going to give you guys a tip here. This is the thing. Like there was a moment, and Brandy knows about this. I remember her and I having a conversation in August of last year on this exact thing right here. And I was in a place where I was so I was pushing so hard in my business, and I had these really big goals, and I had pressure coming from every direction. We were living in our horse trailer. Like it was just, Dace was getting ready to go and be gone for a month. And I was like, I don't know how I can handle everything. I'm not seeing the growth in my business that I want to see. And I'm really, really frustrated, right? I had the ambition and I knew that, but I was really shaking in my belief. And there was a moment where I almost, it could have went either way for me in this moment. And I had a conversation with Brandy about this, and it was talking about my upline. And basically, like I was having a hard time, communicating with her and reaching out to her. And Brandy like gave me the advice to reach out to her, just like be straightforward with her and kind of tell her where I was. And it completely changed my business, you guys. I'm pretty sure Brandy is all of your guys' upline. She's an amazing, amazing cheerleader, amazing cheerleader. Here's what I want you to do, okay? When that expectancy, when that belief is shaky over this next year, this is what you need to do, okay? You need to set a specific goal of who you want to become. You need to write it down daily. And then what you want to do with that expectancy is ask for affirmation from your leader in moments of doubt. Find people that believe in you. Find people that see it, right? That they see your greatness, that they see that it's possible for you, because there's going to be moments where you don't see it for yourself, and you have to have people that will fuel you, that will pour into you, that will believe in you. So I'm telling you, like, write this down. This is like a major, major, major business tip, life hack, pro tip. If you want to go to the top, reach out to your mentor. Have people that will pour into you and believe in you in the moments that you don't. Okay, so now we've got that spark of motivation. You believe in yourself. You're like, yes, I can do the things. I'm hungry for it. I know who I want to be. I know whose life I want to impact. I know that woman who I want to connect with and change her life. I know her. I believe I can do it. Okay, now what do we do? All right, Cassie, what do we do now? So now in order to sustain the motivation, right? So you've got the motivation. So now you need to sustain that motivation so you can see some progress in your business. Okay, so how do we do that? First, with attention. Okay, so focus, like focusing on your business. So this is like planning out your day. When are you going to be able to spend time working on your business, right? That has to be set out like weeks ahead of time, right? Like you can't leave that to chance. You have to be able to be spending consistent attention and focus on your business, right? On your goals, on your ambition, okay? So we need focus, and then we need effort, right? That's easy. So you need to do the things, right? You need to have the attention and put in the effort, and that it's that simple, you guys. That's really all that there is to it. So how do we do that? So again, another pro tip here. I'm a big fan of essentialism, right? So the trivial many and the vital few. With your business, there will be 3 to 4 things that are income producing activities, right? Figure out what the vital few for you are, for your specific business, your specific goals, and where you want to go. What are the vital few things that you need to do on a consistent basis? Figure those out and get very, very, very good at them. Like just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. That attention and that effort is what will take you to the top. That's truly it right there. So don't think that it's some shiny object or it's some, doing 50 million things. It's figuring out what the 3 to 5 income producing activities are for your business. And it doesn't always look the same for all of us. There's probably a few different ways to build, and there's probably a few different ways to connect with people, and a few different ways to run your business. Figure out what works for you. Get very, very good at that, and you will have unusual success. Okay, so now we're putting in the effort, we're doing the things, we're catching some momentum. We're like what are we like in like September, and you're like, you're hitting the ranks, you're building this team, you're making the money, you're doing the things, you're like, yes, it's awesome, right? And then how do we keep that going? Maybe now like kids are back in school and the schedule is crazy and you're like, what do I do now? How do I keep this going? Okay, so now we want to amplify, right? This is like where you want to scale, where you really want to take things, where you're trudging through the mud, and now you want to scale and you want to pump things up a little bit more. How do we do that? With your attitude. So what is essential for high performers? Like for high performance in life, business, relationships, anything, a positive attitude and optimism is essential. If you can't have a positive attitude and be optimistic, flat out, you will not have success. And this isn't me saying this. This is like all of the studies of all of the people that have been successful. Like a positive attitude and optimism is essential. So figure out like what you need to be doing in your daily life to be showing up and having that positive attitude. I'm a big big believer of personal development and, you know, like reading every day, listening to podcasts, going to events, you know, making sure that you're pouring into yourself. And especially if you are in a leadership position, this is essential because you are the person that is pouring into your customers, your business partners, your downline, all of that kind of stuff. And you have to have enough in you to be able to pour into other people to build them up. Because now you're in this place where, you know, now your downline is coming to you for seeking that belief, like wanting you to believe in them. So you have to have that positivity and that optimism to be able to you know, push through. And where this really stands out and where this really, you see the difference of the people that give up and the people that see success is the people that are able to have that positive attitude and that optimism during times of struggle. So this is where that really comes into play. So you want to be training, you know, in when times are good and times are, you know, simple and easy, you want to be training during those times, preparing yourself for the downturns because they're going to happen. And you need to be able to have that resilience and that positivity and that optimism to be able to, you know, get through those things, have a, you know, like be able to have your stuff together, your wits about you, and know how to process through those things. So positive attitude and optimism, and then your environment. This is everything. The people you surround yourself with, the things that you're doing in your free time, like just flat out who you are around and what you are around will determine like whether you have success or not. If you're around unmotivated people, if you're around negativity, if you're around people that don't believe in you and don't want to speak life into your dreams and they want to like talk down to you, it will kill your motivation. It will kill your you won't ever even get into momentum. So your environment, this is one of the things that if you focus on this and you really are intentional about who you're spending your time with, right? How you're spending your time, you will see, you know, massive growth, or you will see where you're stagnant. So pro tip on this one, show up to calls, right? You guys have literally like a beaming ray of sunshine in Brandy Zuger. She is incredible, right? Show up to the calls, get to the live events, and minimize the amount of time that you spend with people that don't get it. I know you guys are going to a seminar next week. Is everybody going that's on this call? Most people? Yeah. I mean, if you do whatever you can do and that you need to do to get to events, live events, if you guys have like quarterly events or local events, or if you can put on events, you know, for little like get-togethers for team, you know, doing that and getting around your people will massively, massively impact your motivation, your momentum, your belief, your ambition, all of those kinds of things. So show up to the calls, get to the live events, and minimize the amount of time that you spend with people that don't get it. And the more and the more and the more and the more that you do that, just the more motivation that you will have on demand, and the more momentum that you'll see, the more belief that you'll have in yourself, the more belief other people will have in you, and the faster that you will be sprinting towards whatever your goals are. So we're going to go through that again. So what motivates us? We have to have that spark. So that ambition, that hunger. I love that word hunger. Drop that in the comments if you guys love that. Like, that is me. I am hungry. And I told myself that every single day in 2018. I am hungry. I am hungry. I am hungry. Whatever it takes, it didn't matter. I did whatever it takes to become the person that I needed to become to, you know, hit the goals and serve the people that God was intending me to serve, and serve the mission and all of those things. Like, it didn't matter. I was hungry. So become hungry. And then have that expectancy, that belief. If you put it on your heart, it is absolutely for you. Find people that will pour into you. I know Brandy will. To sustain that motivation, you have to have that attention, that focus. You've got to spend consistent time every single day doing the things. No one's going to do it for you. You have to, this is on you. You gotta put in the attention and the focus, and the effort, right? And then the positive attitude and outlook, and then your environment, right? And it really is that simple. So set a very specific goal of who you want to become, write it down daily as if it's already done. I am, Brandy, unmute yourself and tell me what like your goal is.
I actually, and I love this because I will be honest with you guys, for a long time, I told myself, I need to like have a morning mantra, like a thing that I tell myself every single day. And I didn't write it down for the longest time. I didn't write it down. I didn't say it. I didn't do the things, but I kept thinking I should do it, but I never took the time to do it. My morning mantra, and it speaks to me, right? And that's, I think, the key thing is like, it just has to speak to you. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And for me, what that means is I have the tendency of, I have all these great ideas. I'm a creative person. I'm kind of a people pleaser. So I have I can do that, and let's do this, and I will generate ideas, and I will say them, and I won't get them done. So for me, that was, I wake up every morning, and part of this is even just for me getting out of bed in the morning. I'll lay in bed, and my alarm will go off, and I'll lay there, and I'll say, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And you know what I did? I set this alarm because I meant to mean to get up. So if I mean what I say and I say what I mean, my feet have to hit the ground, right?
Yes.
So that is my morning. And it does, any time that I'm like, oh, I'll put that off till later. I'm like, no, I said I get it done today. I mean what I say what I mean.
Yes, I love that. And that's an ambition, right? So that's like, who do I need to become in order to be the person that everybody needs me to be, right? So that's an ambition. So write down a specific goal and say it as though it's already done. And then reach out to your leader in moments of doubt, because we all have those. It's just the nature of the beast, right? In this industry that we're in and what we do, it's a roller coaster, you guys. We all know that. We've all been on it. And you are going to have moments of doubt. That is where that tribe, that environment, that tight-knit community, show up to the calls, be transparent, be bold, put your goals out there, talk things out. And in moments of doubt, like, reach out to somebody and have them pour life into you, and then believe it when they say it. That is the missing key. If you've got to believe it, because if you don't have that expectancy and you don't have that belief, even if it's on a subconscious level, you will sabotage yourself over and over and over and over and over again. So you've got to believe it. Understand that belief has to be there. Identify the vital few and get very, very good at them. Don't chase shiny objects. Don't be, 3 to 5 things maximum should be whatever your income. It doesn't matter what industry, what business, if it's network marketing, if it's something else, there are 3 to 5 things that are income producing activities, and that's it. So do those things and get very, very good at them. And then show up to the calls, get to the live events, minimize the amount of time that you spend with people that don't get it. And you guys, you will be unstoppable. I'm telling you.
I love this last one, and I want to open it. As I'm saying this, I want you guys to be thinking of any questions that you have. We've got a few more minutes with Cassie here. So I want you guys to feel free to start asking her some questions. I can't even tell you, she's a curious human, so her depth of knowledge is astounding. So please take the opportunity to ask her some questions. But that last piece I love, because we actually do have girls from other teams with other leaders that are here, but I can speak to a few. Jenny here's on the call. Lisa here's on the call. Lydia's here on the call. A couple girls that I see show up to our calls regularly and are doing the things, right? Jenny just got done doing $5,500 in sales last month. Just crazy, outstanding. Lydia and Lisa have been just like booking parties like crazy. And again, that other thing of they feed off each other, their ambition's up, their excitement's up. But I can speak to them saying, I see them on calls all the time. So it's like, I'm not surprised you're doing these things because you're feeding the hunger with the right kind of nutrition.
Yeah, it's so important. You can get really inundated with a million different things, and that can happen where you're getting on like 17 different Zoom calls, but you have to figure out like your core call or whatever, like the one that you need to show up to, and come hell or high water, like you show up, you get there, you're on that call every single week. And make it happen and form those bonds and reach out to your upline and like just do the things and like drink the Kool-Aid, right? Like you got to drink the Kool-Aid if you really want to have success and you really want to go far. Like you got to drink the Kool-Aid, you got to go all in. And to me, showing up to the calls, getting to the live events, like all that kind of stuff. And I know from just a leadership standpoint, like that goes a long ways, you know, if you're wanting support and guidance and those kinds of things, if you're showing up and you're doing the activities, like your upline is going to do whatever they can do and need to do to help you have success. If you're not showing up to the calls and you're not putting in the effort in yourself, then, it's kind of on you.
Yeah. That visibility, it is like that, just that visibility. It really is absolutely huge. So I want to know, and I'd love for you to speak to just a little bit of like getting started, like what's your morning, like how, when you start your day, right? I think that that's one of the most powerful things that I would say I can attest to, that everything snowballs and it's either going uphill if it starts out well, or it's going downhill if I start somewhere else. So can you share a little bit about how you like start your day off on the right foot?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not a like super early morning person. It's just not my deal. So I wake up like 6:30 to 7 and I try to stay off of social media as long as possible. So usually I try to stay off of social media till like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I build primarily online. So that's a little bit, I don't know kind of how you guys do things. If it's a little bit of everything, but try to stay off my phone, listen to a podcast or an audio book or something like that. So the first thing that I'm doing is always, either journaling, doing a devotional, or listening to a podcast. So I'm always feeding my mind first and foremost. And then I map out my day the night before, and I keep my to-do list, 3 to 5 things. Brandy knows this about me, 3 to 5 things maximum, time block my day out. So in the mornings, like I already have my day mapped out from the night before when I get up and get ready to go, and I drink my bulletproof coffee and listen to my podcast and then kind of go into my day. But I'm just super intentional about that first, couple of hours and making sure that I am pouring in. I know like when my creative time is, and I don't schedule phone calls or meetings or anything like that, like during when my creative time is in the morning. And yeah, just time blocking and keeping your to-do list minimal is essential. Lauren says, can you talk about environment? What worked for you trying to find a workspace between Legos sometimes? And that is the challenge of mompreneur life. You just have to, what worked for me, I guess, with environment, like physical environment, is I don't, just like keeping things super simple and super minimal. That's again, like finding out what that vital few is and just like doing the things, and having systems and having routine and different things like that. And like, that's just part of life. Like if you have kids and you're a mompreneur and you're at home with them, like you just kind of have to, you got to work with it. I don't know. That's probably not the best answer. That's probably not a good answer at all.
Well, and would you say
roll with it?
And I think some of us can, and I kind of, Lauren, I don't know about you, but like for something that helps me in my environment, and I think Cassie too, you were talking to like what you surround your mind environment with, too, right? Like mental environment, but even just your physical space to actually go forth and take the 10 minutes first to kind of, okay, how can I get the clutter removed? How can I maybe set my kids up downstairs with something that might keep their attention for 20 minutes? And then, like you said, have the task at hand to do the vital few, to understand what the vital few are. So even if you only had 20 minutes, you're like, at least I checked off one of the vital few. I didn't get onto social media, because this is what I do, right? A lot of times if I don't have a plan, I'm like, I better just get some ideas first. And then all of a sudden I'm like, are the kids not watching cartoons anymore? I didn't do anything. So having that plan, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. So like being really, and I'm a bit of a minimalist. as far as that's concerned. So like getting organized, if that's something that you need to do beforehand and it's like, this is tripping me up and the kids have stuff all over the place and everything's a mess and it's what's keeping me from moving forward, then that's something that you need to put some time and effort and energy on figuring out a system, you know, to either minimize some things so that it doesn't get out of control, or you just have to roll with it and be like, this is just the season of life and I don't really care because I am going to move my business forward and it doesn't matter what it takes. I'm hungry. And so I'm going to do the things no matter if there's Legos everywhere and, you know, nobody's wearing pants today. Don't really care. Going to still do the things.
I will say this too about Cassie. You guys, I can't tell you how much I've like personally learned from Cassie. Like there's so many nuggets that she can teach me in life. But like in that environment of talking about decluttering and having like Cassie, I've learned from her to even like she said, just minimize and like literally just the aspects. And it seems simple. And this seems like, well, how is this relevant to growing my business? But like getting rid of kids' clothes, minimizing that, getting rid of your own stuff, getting like to literally, and that might, again, it might seem a little drastic. Like, why would I get rid of my stuff? How's that going to grow my business? But if that stuff, if you're like, all I'm ever doing is washing and folding clothes, maybe it's going to feel a lot better to get rid of that. All I'm ever doing is putting away these kid toys and these kids never play with these toys. Tote them up and put them upstairs. So there's literally, you're like, here's the tote for the week, kids. That's all you got. Like those are the things that at first I was like, Cassie, come on, I can't get rid of this stuff. Like that's not how this works. Funny thing, it works.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, and it is worth your while if you are finding that is tripping you up, get organized, get your space organized, minimize distractions, you know, essentialism, like that is, I'm an essentialist. So we don't have like, you don't need to have mental clutter. You don't need to have digital clutter. You don't need to have physical clutter. All of those kinds of things are going to keep you bogged down. So taking the time to find some kind of organizational system or different things like that. Yeah, Jen, I learned that at a personal development event, actually, from a lady that was a professional organizer. And the tubs, I was like, this is, why didn't that come with the manual? When I became a mom of a little girl that has 9 million tiny little toys, and you put it in like a little small tote and that's all they get. They get that. And then we rotate them out. It's amazing. Amazing. Hannah said double duty. Are you guys good? I'm good with going a little bit longer. Are you good with that, Brandy?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
And if you need to go, of course, girls, I'm recording, but if you can stay.
Hannah said double duty distributor, tips for having energy towards the end of the day, like working a full-time job. That's that vital few. So knowing exactly what your business building activities are, and you have to be so diligent. If you have a jam-packed schedule, I mean, I think all of us need to be, but especially if you have a full-time job, like you have to know what your income producing activities are and just be super diligent and lean that's the only thing that you do and you're not spending time doing other things. I know, Brandy, you built working a full-time job.
Yes.
So you're like the expert at this.
Yeah.
You're like the go-to.
And I will say sometimes, and this is a me thing, but it might resonate with some of you as well. Like if I have too much time on my hands, I can, in exactly what Cassie talked about earlier, I can go into, well, I've got to find the best way to do it or the perfect way to do it. And like, again, Cassie and I have talked about this numerous times. If I have too much time to think about what I need to be doing, I'll think of a million things I should be doing and I won't do one of them. And in some ways, when I was a double duty distributor, because I knew I only got a minute, it's going to be messy, but I was taking that messy action. So I would say maybe even just think about like, am I wasting time lost in that limbo of like, I'm not doing because I'm overthinking of what I should be doing? Am I making that priority list? Am I setting that kind of agenda to myself beforehand? When I get off work, if I do nothing else, I will follow up with 5 people. I will, reach out and connect with 5 new people. I will, do those vital things that result in sales. Because again, like I said, sometimes when I have too much time on my hands, I all of a sudden don't do anything because I overthink it.
Kelly Gray had a great point. I'm a double duty working 60 hours a week, made inner circle for personal sales. You decide, then you do. Yes. This is the belief. Like, so what I would recommend to you, Hannah or Lauren, is look at that framework. Because I can tell you guys, when I went to Brennan, I'm pushing for like a really big goal right now. And there's been some resistance the last 2 months. And so when I went to this seminar, and he was going through this, I'm like, I have the motivation. I'm doing the things. Like, where is the resistance coming from? So this is where looking at that framework. If you are having resistance, whether that is having resistance in showing up and doing the things, having resistance in growth in your business, having resistance in whatever the thing is, then look at this framework and see where that's coming from. Because if you have the hunger, the ambition, and the belief that you can do it, it doesn't matter if your house is a mess. It doesn't matter if you're working 60 hours a week. It doesn't matter if you are, think about it. Like, there are so many other people that their circumstances are 10 times more difficult than, ours, and they're killing it, right? And they're doing the things, and they're showing up, and they're having success, and all of those kinds of things. So what is the common denominator there? And that's that framework of looking at that and going through and being honest with yourself and real with yourself. For me, when I looked at that, my belief wasn't as rock solid as I thought that it was. I didn't have crystal clear clarity on how exactly I was going to get there. And I didn't believe, like, my belief was that I was going to feel overwhelmed if I did hit that goal, that I was going to feel overwhelmed. That was what my belief was. And so I was sabotaging myself and keeping myself in that place of resistance. So that's where that framework comes into play of look at that and figure out, do you have the hunger? Do you really, really, really want it? Like, do you really want it? Do you want it bad enough to do whatever it will take? And then, yeah, okay, you've got the ambition. If you're like, yes, whatever it takes, I don't care. I'll do it. It doesn't matter. Okay, do you really believe it? Do you really believe you can do it? Do you really believe, that it's in you, that you have everything already right now? You've got it. All you got to do is move forward. Do you really believe that? And if you've got that, are you putting in the consistent effort? Be honest with yourself. Are you showing up every single day and doing the vital few? Like, this isn't, you want to like take emotion out of this, and you want to just be a CEO and look at your business and be like, am I doing the things? Yes or no? And then, effort and focus, right? And then, do you have a positive attitude, right? And that's, again, that's like being self-reflective. Do I have a positive attitude, and am I being optimistic, or am I complaining, or am I saying, this person didn't do that, or that person, just be real with yourself. And like, do I have a positive attitude? And then, what's my environment been like? Is there someone been in my ear complaining or doubting me, or, as my mother-in-law been like, what is this thing that you're doing here? Oh, that's a cute little hobby. Or, my grandpa, he's like, you're a really good BSer. I'm not sure what it is that you do, but it's a cute little hobby. I'm like, actually, okay, grandpa. It's a real thing. It's a real job, grandpa.
Legit.
Yeah. So you have to like look at that framework and be honest with yourself, see where the breakdown is, and then you can adjust and see like, oh, I'm being real with myself. I haven't been putting in the consistent effort. Well, there's where the breakdown is. Now you know how to move forward. Or, my husband is really concerned with, what's going on here. He doesn't really think that this is a thing. Well, there you go. Have a conversation and figure that out. Or, I don't really believe that I can do this. Like, I'm not really sure how it can work. And then you reach out to your upline and like, hey, I don't know how this works. I don't really believe in myself. Like, can you help me, work through this? And that's that framework. That's how looking at that can really be impactful for that. Was that helpful for you guys to like look at it in context?
Yes. And I love that, breaking it down backwards. That's one thing. And I wrote that down to remind myself, like, right, there's always something. There's always one piece that's probably a little shaky. And
yeah. If you're feeling resistance, if anytime you're feeling resistance, if you're setting the goals, you're doing the things, and you're not moving forward in your business, look at that framework and see what's going on. If you're, having trouble getting going, right? So if you're having trouble with the spark, so having trouble getting going, if you're having trouble sustaining, so if you start, stop, or if you're having trouble like actually getting into momentum and amplifying, right, and seeing things move forward, you know, that's where that environment and your outlook really comes into play.
I love it. That's so, so useful. And I have a lot of notes, and hopefully a lot of you girls have notes as well. Does anybody have any other last minute questions? If you do, pop them in really quick below. Otherwise, like I said, I want to honor your time, Cassie's time. And you can of course go find her on social media as well, because the wisdom doesn't stop here. I'm just saying, like, so much wisdom. So awesome. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions pop through, but thank you girls for showing up, right? Like, give yourself all a pat on the back for being here, for making this a priority, for showing up and doing that step right towards your framework, and hopefully coming back hungry for more of that.
Yeah. Have fun in Tulsa, you guys.
Cannot wait. I cannot wait to see so many of these faces in Tulsa either. It's so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for having me on, and go kill it.
Yeah. Dance party for that. All right. Have a good one, girls. We'll see ya.